Obituaries presentation of Curtis and Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg, 256-245-4361. Your Dignity Memorial Funeral Home is Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Kenneth Kenny Paul Clements, age 67, of Sycamore, died March 9th at his residence. Funeral service this morning at 11 a.m. from Curtis and Son North Chapel, with burial in the Evergreen Cemetery. Reverend Mike Owens officiating. Online condolences at curtisandsonfh.com. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Barbara Gail Cooper, age 66, of Sylacauga, died March 10th at Coosa Valley Medical Center. Funeral service will be Saturday, March 12th at 2 p.m. from Curtis and Son North, with the Reverend John Adair officiating. Burial in the Evergreen Cemetery. Visitation will be tonight, 5:30 until 8 o'clock at the North Chapel. Online condolences at curtisandsonfh.com. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Evelyn H. Walker, age 85, of Harpersville, died at her residence on March 10th. Funeral service will be held Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. from North Macedonia Baptist Church, with the Reverends Gerald Hoyle and Reverend Darrell Wood officiating. Burial in the Valley Hill Memorial Gardens. The body will lie in state at the church Sunday from 1 until 2. Visitation at the Childersburg Chapel of Curtis and Son Funeral Home Saturday evening from 5 until 8 p.m. Online condolences at curtisandsonfunerals.com. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Childersburg Chapel, directing. Billy Kahn died on March 10th at Princeton Baptist Hospital in Birmingham. Funeral arrangements to be announced by Radley Smith Funeral Home. Funeral service for Mrs. Deborah Diane Tanner Hardy, age 59, is Saturday, March 12th at Shiloh Church of Promise, with Pastor Elder Burke officiating. Burial in the Westview Cemetery. Mrs. Hardy died March 7th. Visitation is today from 2 until 7 o'clock at Westview Funeral Home. Westview Funeral Home, directing. Memorial service for Mrs. Ima Pat Vincent Lowry, age 94, of Lincoln, is Saturday at 3 o'clock in Blue Eye Baptist Church in Lincoln, with burial in the adjoining cemetery. The Reverend Jackie Morgan will officiate. The family receiving friends at the church Saturday from 2 until 3. Mrs. Lowry died in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on March 6th. Online condolences at urseryfuneralhome.com. Ursery Funeral Home, Talladega, directing. Funeral service for Mr. Ivory J. Wilson, age 65, is Saturday at 1 o'clock from Trinity Baptist Church in Childersburg, with burial in the Shady Grove Cemetery in Childersburg. Visitation today, noon until 8 o'clock at the funeral home. Mr. Wilson died March 4th at his residence in Childersburg Community Funeral Home, directing. Funeral service for Mr. Billy Wayne Martin, age 70, of Goodwater, will be Sunday, March 13th at 2 p.m. from the Chapel of Radley Funeral Home. Reverend David Sherrill officiating. Burial in the Hackneyville Cemetery. The family receiving friends Saturday from 4 until 6 p.m. at Radley Funeral Home. Mr. Martin died Wednesday, March 9th at Shelby Baptist Medical Center. He was a member of the Campground United Methodist Church, Radley Funeral Home, Alexander City, directing. And Mrs. Wilma Louise Russell of Sylacauga died March 5th at Coosa Valley Medical Center. Visitation will be Saturday from 3:30 until 6:30 at St. Paul's AME Church, 894 Prater Street in Sylacauga. Funeral service will be Sunday, March 13th at 2 o'clock from Armour's Memorial Funeral Home in Alexander City. Armour's Memorial Funeral Service in charge of the arrangements. That's a look at obituaries brought to you by Curtis and Son Funeral Home, 256-245-4361, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg. That is Curtis and Son Funeral Home.